Whoosh, whoosh. Xiao Yin stared at the lingering afterimages in the void, a wave of trepidation surging within him. His blood seemed to freeze in an instant, and beads of sweat the size of beans continuously dripped down his face. "Thank you," he exhaled, and both the Eternal Ruler and the Imperial Flame Ring emitted a gentle aura, counteracting the overwhelming pressure emanating from the afterimage. Only then did Xiao Yin feel a little better. Crack! With a sound, the lingering afterimages in the void disappeared instantly. Although this was merely a small fragment of the memory left behind from the meeting of the kings of the extraterritorial evil clan, it was enough for Xiao Yin. From the brief afterimage, it seemed Xiao Yin discovered that within the extraterritorial evil clan, there were beings beyond the king level known as the evil gods. The number of evil gods was probably only in the single digits, but their power far surpassed that of reincarnation, stepping into an entirely different realm. So, after reincarnation, one does not become a Do Shun, battle god? What hidden levels of power are there between these stages? However, these were not things Xiao Yin needed to worry about at the moment. Perhaps when his strength reached that level, everything would fall into place. Ha ha ha. Breathing heavily, Xiao Yin looked at the countless evil energy currents dissipating around him. He sat down heavily, choosing to focus on recovering his strength for the time being and not think about anything else. Meanwhile, inside the ancient prison, without the support of the three great powerhouses, with the intervention of Xun'er and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor, all the evil beings in the ancient prison were either killed or suppressed within the span of a single incense stick. The entire prison was thoroughly swept clean by the two. Big Brother Xiao Yin. After resolving the disaster in the ancient prison, Xun'er also freed the many powerful souls that had been imprisoned. Though they were merely souls, their large numbers granted them considerable strength. Soon, Xun'er, feeling a sense of urgency, rushed to the bottom of the ancient prison. Hee. Seeing Xun'er arrive, Xiao Yin smiled gently and instantly rose to his feet. His injuries had already healed to a large extent. Is everything taken care of? Xiao Yin embraced Xun'er, unable to resist inhaling deeply. A bewitching fragrance immediately filled his nose, quite alluring. The evil beings left in the ancient prison have all been dealt with, but the souls imprisoned here are only those of the ancient clan's elders. Their physical bodies still seem to be within the core of the ancient clan, Xun'er replied, her voice like the tinkling of silver bells, sweet and pleasant to the ear. Looks like we'll have to visit the ancient clan's core. However, Blood King Mo's plan to create a new king and the demon baby have been completely thwarted. The other king in the core of the ancient clan should not remain silent, right? Xiao Yin speculated. Let's first gather the army and then leave the ancient prison to meet with the forces in the several vassal cities of the ancient clan. We can discuss our strategy from there. I still feel like the core of the ancient clan is the final chapter of this great calamity. After a brief moment, Xiao Yin came up with a solution. All right, but this time, you have to come with me. Hee. Xun'er, full of energy and charm, made a funny face at Xiao Yin, taking his broad hand as they walked out, her eyes filled with satisfaction and happiness. You little girl. Xiao Yin looked at how happy Xun'er was and couldn't help but smile. He had no way to stop her, so he allowed her to drag him along. Soon, in a stone chamber on the second level of the ancient prison. This was a rather spacious stone chamber, clearly used as a temporary meeting room. At this moment, besides Xiao Yin, Xun'er, Gu Yuan, and the Supreme Heavenly Emperor, dozens of translucent, colorless souls appeared quietly in the room. The atmosphere was strange, but the power contained within these souls was not to be underestimated. Some of them even emitted terrifying fluctuations, as if they were on the verge of touching reincarnation. Ancient elders, I believe you all understand the current situation. Xun'er stood up, her beautiful eyes sweeping around the room. Then, in a calm voice, she spoke without the slightest trace of weakness, instead carrying an unquestionable authority. The elders present were all core members of the ancient clan, with one of them being a perfect 8-star Do Xian. The fact that such a powerful individual had been ambushed by Blood King Mo showed how full of gaps their defenses were. However, among the many powerful souls rescued, Only the ancient clan's clan leader and some of the strategists in charge of vital resources were nowhere to be found. No one knew where they had gone. The Holy Maiden's great achievements, we all have them deeply engraved in our hearts. But going to the core of the ancient clan is no easy task. Our physical bodies are still unclear. We're just worried that several of the more influential elders' souls spoke hesitantly. Their physical bodies were still within the core of the ancient clan, and with the methods of the extraterritorial evil clan, it would be impossible for them to remain safe. What they feared were those now controlling the core of the ancient clan. But if they rely on their soul state to go fight the evil beings, if they fall, it will be true death. These old fools, Xiao muttered, weakly rubbing his head before standing up. All extraterritorial evil clans below the late 8-star Docian. I'll handle them all, Xiao said in a tone of disdain, intentionally creating an overwhelming sense of pressure. You? With your mere late 7-star Docian strength? As soon as Xiao spoke, dozens of denying voices immediately erupted. Do you even know where this is? You better recognize reality. If it weren't for your close relationship with the Holy Maiden, do you really think you'd have the qualifications to stand on equal footing with us? Late 7-star Docian is far too weak. Several of the elder members of the Gu clan couldn't help but sneer. After all, aside from Xiao and Gu Yuan, the weakest present here was at least an early 8-star Docian. Is it possible? Xiao didn't say much more, but instead shifted his gaze slightly to Xun'er. As long as you don't die, Xun'er replied indifferently, as if she didn't care about the life or death of the elder. If Xiao gave the order, she would follow him back to the boundless fire domain without hesitation and no longer involve herself in any matters of the Gu clan. Bang! 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 A sound echoed as a soul form identical to Xiao original body emerged from within him, then slapped the disrespectful elder. Boom! The slap, powered only by soul force, hit the elder's soul form like a fatal blow, sending him flying back, battered and injured, looking utterly miserable. Glurk! How is that possible? Instantly, the stone chamber fell silent. The few remaining elders with hostile intent stared at Xiao in shock. The soul power Xiao had just unleashed. Not even their Gu clan patriarch possessed such strength. Xun'er is my wife. If it weren't for her inheriting your Gu clan's legacy, and the promise made by that senior to help your clan through this calamity, I'd take her and leave immediately. Don't think you can do whatever you want just because you're an ancient super clan. Back then, on the 7 peaks of the creation of immortals, aside from the peak ruled by the supreme heavenly emperor, how did the other 6 peaks treat my wife? Don't you all know? If it hadn't been for us, risking our lives to eliminate Blood King Mo, you old fools would have been turned into nutrients for the extraterritorial evil clans. Now you want to bargain with me? If you're willing, make Xun'er the new clan leader, and my wife and I will do everything we can to help the Gu clan through this crisis. If not, we'll leave immediately. This mess, whoever is willing to clean it up can take care of it. Xiao roared in a fit of anger, then grabbed Xun'er and walked out without a second glance. Lord Xiao, please don't be angry. We agree. A few minutes later, led by the Gu clan's grand elder, the core members slowly nodded in agreement. At this point, the only hope of overcoming the Gu clan's disaster lay with the sacred flame of Xiao and Xun'er. If they left, the Gu clan would likely fall into irreversible ruin. Hee, Xun'er chuckled, watching the awkward atmosphere in the room. She raised a slender hand to cover her enticing red lips and smiled. What are you laughing at? Be serious, Xiao said with a serious expression. Oh. Xun'er smiled even more happily upon hearing that, seemingly delighted by seeing Xiao act like this again after such a long time. I've never seen Xiao go like this before, she whispered in Xiao ear, her lips lightly brushing against him, sending a wave of warm breath and alluring fragrance to his ear. Ahem, ahem, ahem. Xiao couldn't help but clear his throat a few times. In the past, we old fools wronged the holy maiden Xun'er. Now, with the Gu clan facing its great calamity, we hope the holy maiden will overlook past grudges and help us through this crisis. The entire Gu clan, from top to bottom, is willing to bow and serve, making the Holy Maiden our new clan leader. After a pause, an elderly elder, followed by many core elders, simultaneously bowed to Xiao Yin and Xun'er. Their bodies bent at a 90-degree angle, demonstrating an air of solemn dignity. The Gu clan's grand ceremony. This was a true ceremony that only the patriarch of the Gu clan could endure. Father Master, Xiao Yin Gu, look. After a moment, Xun'er's beautiful eyes flickered, a hint of reluctance in her heart as she quickly cast her gaze toward the three men. You decide, Xiao Yin smiled. I agree to your request, but if any clan member disobeys my orders, they will be punished according to the clan rules, Xun'er replied, and as she spoke, a golden firebird appeared behind her, its eyes glowing with an intense divine power. The bird looked down at everyone, exuding an aura of arrogance and superiority. What is this? Xun'er, the clan leader, is truly wise. As they gazed at the golden flame phoenix before them, all the concerns of the elders behind them vanished without a trace, and they couldn't help but be completely convinced. At that moment, all the powerful beings within the ancient prison, including nearly 90% of the souls of the entire Gu clan, all pledged their loyalty to Xun'er. Organize the troops, evacuate from the ancient prison as soon as possible, and leave some strong ones behind for defense. Notify the major powers in the vassal cities as a Gu clan elder and guide the army to the surface. Gather all 8-star Docian and above to discuss the final battle against the core of the Gu clan. One order after another was issued from Xun'er's hand in an orderly manner. It must be said that such grandiosity and decisiveness gave Xiao Yin a newfound respect for Xun'er. When did this girl become so formidable? Watching Xun'er issue commands with such authority, and seeing that no one dared to defy her, Xiao Yin smiled with a sense of pride. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This girl is much more powerful than you can imagine. I've heard Xun'er mention her ideal husband was a peerless hero. Now that I see it, her words were not exaggerated, said the Supreme Heavenly Emperor, turning to Xiao Yin with an appreciative look. Putting aside other matters, just Xiao Yan's feat of single-handedly infiltrating the evil ancient prison was something few would dare to do. Truly, they were a match made in heaven, his talent and her beauty. In one day, the army within the ancient prison moved out in an orderly fashion and in secret. To avoid exposing their movements, Xun'er and Xiao Yin found a rare moment of leisure. They lay side by side on a patch of grass at the edge of a vassal city, waiting for the army to finish its evacuation before the final battle could truly begin. What is this? Evil energy? But it seems like the power of an array pattern. Is it an illusion? Xiao Yin lay quietly on the grass and casually reached out, discovering a rare black ink-like energy. Brother Xiao Yin, were you doing that on purpose? After a breath, Xun'er's delicate hand covered Xiao Yan's eyes, her voice a bit upset. Just a moment ago, she had clearly wanted the Gu clan's powerful ones to acknowledge Xiao Yin as their leader, but Xiao Yin had instead pushed the responsibility onto her. This left Xun'er slightly vexed. The Do Emperor continent is divided into 4 parts. I've already integrated 3 of them and established the Boundless Fire domain. Doyun continent is the most difficult one to tackle, and for the Gu clan, I believe you're more suited than I am, Xiao Yin said, putting away the strange energy. He then turned his gaze toward the person beside him, clearly understanding Xun'er's thoughts. He raised his finger and gently tapped her forehead, showing a tender affection. How's Kailin? I heard she's helping you manage the Boundless Fire domain now? After a moment of quiet, Xun'er lay quietly in Xiao Yan's arms, pouting and speaking softly. Don't worry, Xiao Yin replied without saying much, his hand gently running through Xun'er's long hair as he spoke in a soft, comforting tone. Clan leader, sir, everything is prepared. We're just waiting for you to take your seats. A soul transmission accurately relayed to Xun'er. Let's go. Xiao Yin stood up and stretched lazily. I miss Shaolin and Xiao Xiao. After this is over, let's go home and visit them. Okay? Looking at the distant, massive city, Xun'er smiled softly, though beneath the smile was the longing of a mother for her children. All right, Xiao Yin nodded deeply, also missing Shaolin and Xiao Xiao. Moments later, the two of them turned into streaks of light, heading toward the conference room in the heart of the city. Gu Qingkong, the steward. Upon entering the conference room and seeing the Supreme Heavenly Emperor and Gu Qingkong, Xiaoyan exchanged a glance with him and spoke. Lord Xiaoyan, clan leader Xun'er, please take your seats, Gu Qingkong warmly invited. Now that everyone is here, Xun'er will not beat around the bush, Xun'er said, her voice carrying authority. Now, our Gu clan faces an unprecedented disaster. The entire internal structure has been eroded and shattered by the extraterritorial evil clan, and the core of the Gu clan is under their control. The ancient prison's disaster was narrowly resolved, but now we should press the advantage and strike directly at the Gu clan's core, reclaim the Gu clan, and exterminate all the extraterritorial evil clan. I agree with the clan leader's perspective, said the souls of the elders behind her. The rest of the major powers from the vassal cities also voiced their support, recognizing the power they now held. Lord Xiaoyan, you have done us a great favor. We are also inclined to agree with your and clan leader Xun'er's plan. However, while you were infiltrating the ancient prison, we encountered some strange occurrences. Gu Qingkong and Gu Yang spoke at the same time, their voices carrying a sense of unease. What strange occurrences? Could they be related to the small holes on your neck? Xiaoyan frowned upon hearing this, as if he had just realized something. Indeed, you are right to be concerned, Lord. When you left, we took the risk to investigate and tried to eliminate the small holes, but the result was that several strong individuals turned into pus, unable to be saved, and their souls were completely destroyed. These small holes are actually the central method used by the extraterritorial evil clan to drain our soul energy, and it's also a special poison. The draining of soul energy was done by a powerful being inside the ancient prison, who aimed to turn us into nourishment for demonic babies. The small holes were the work of the deranged evil sorcerer at the core of the Gu clan. This poison is also a bomb, as it allows them to control our minds and bodies. If we disobey their orders, we will instantly perish. Furthermore, I've checked. The small holes and pores were barely noticeable, painless, and itchless. No one knew when they had been implanted. Furthermore, once within the 1,000-mile radius of the core area, shrouded by the grayish barrier of the Gu clan sky, even we, the 8-star Do Xian level experts, would have our minds controlled, turning into true walking corpses. Gu Yang and Gu Qingkong shook their heads, their eyes unfocused, clearly revealing that this information had been uncovered through many human lives. The room fell into complete silence, as no one expected the situation to be this serious. It can't be that bad, right? The vast conference room was eerily quiet for a moment. After a while, Xiaoyan looked at Gu Yang and Gu Qingkong with a grim expression, asking, if what they said was true, the Gu clan's catastrophe was bound to remain an enormous challenge. Without the intervention of the powerful experts within the cities, their chances of success would likely be less than 1 in 10, perhaps even lower. If the clan leader and the elders have a way to resolve this, we old bones will gladly fight to the death on the battlefield. But if there's no solution, for the faith and lives of these subjugated races towards the Gu clan, we might not be able to participate in this battle. Please understand our helplessness, Gu Yang, Gu Qingkong, and other representatives from various cities said, shaking their heads apologetically. Saying such things wasn't due to fear of death, but because dying without understanding the reason behind it was far more frustrating. Moreover, the millions of subjugated civilians behind them were the true foundation of the Gu clan. They couldn't risk everything just to fight for the Gu clan's core. Damn! The Supreme Heavenly Emperor's gaze became particularly intense upon hearing this. Such a situation was unheard of, and for a moment, he was at a loss for any solution. Has there been any strange change in the surface of the Gu realm? Xiaoyan knew the situation was already dire and no longer lingered on the issue. With war on the horizon, there was no time left to search for cures or solutions, and all they could rely on were the sole experts in their army. Seeing Xiaoyan's question, the experts in the conference room were puzzled, wondering why Xiaoyan would ask such a thing. Speaking of which, when we were investigating the tiny holes, we found a considerable amount of evil power from the extraterritorial evil clan in both the Gu realm's surface and void. It seemed to form complex patterns, It looks like this situation exists throughout the entire Gu realm. Gu Qingkong nodded and replied. Then it's nothing. Xiao Yin smiled slightly after hearing this. To prevent them from noticing his concerns, he quickly dismissed the matter. However, combining this with the faint traces of evil energy he had sensed earlier with Xun'er in the field, Xiao Yin knew in his heart that the Gu realm's domain had most likely been completely sealed off by that one ruler. Seeing this, everyone else exchanged glances, realizing there was no solution. The situation was now in a deadlock, and it seemed the final battle would be the most perilous. Meanwhile, at the core of the Gu realm, shrouded in grayish evil mist, the Sky Ancient City. This was the heart of the Gu clan, where its people lived, Sky Ancient City. The Gu realm was the base of the entire Gu clan, and it was divided into the surface and the sky. The surface was home to millions of subjugated races, while the sky housed the magnificent Sky Ancient City. This was the central hub where core members of the Gu clan resided, practiced, and handled matters concerning the Gu realm. Shrouded in gray mist, the interior was completely invisible from the outside. Inside, however, Sky Ancient City had turned into an evil place, as eerie and dangerous as the Sunluo hell of the former ancient prison. Woo-la-la. A foul stench filled the air as the entire Sky Ancient City was now engulfed in a blood-red, oppressive atmosphere. The city, spanning thousands of miles of void, was dotted with towering silver buildings. There were various structures like the Do Skill Pavilion, martial arts fields, conference rooms, and more. At the center, a milky white stone staircase connected to the city's peak, where the grand residence of the past clan leaders was located. Master, Blood King Imo, and the others have failed. In a tranquil garden at the top of Sky Ancient City, two men stood by a pavilion. One of them spoke softly. Gu Yuan, how do you think my painting turned out? The man sitting in the pavilion, painting, unfurled a scroll on the desk and smiled. The blood sea trembles the heavens, truly an exceptional piece, Gu Yuan replied with a smile. Blood King Imo, it's for the best. He was merely a perfect 8-star Docian, which is still a considerable loss to our army. Gu Yuan, you know the Gu clan better than anyone. What should we do now? The man who had been painting stood up, his eyes trembling, and a deep, ocean-like aura radiated from him. Master, though the ancient prison has been freed, we have controlled the bodies of those elders, greatly restricting their souls. We've already taken control of all the experts within the Gu clan. Even your evil artifact has already been scattered throughout the entire surface of the Gu realm and the void. Just as you instructed, Gu Yuan said with an evil grin, his voice dripping with malice. You're right, the demonic scholar said, his robes gently moving as he spoke, a faint, rare trace of madness creeping into his voice. But if that's the case, those fools will have no room for resistance. It will make the entire situation meaningless. So what is your intention, Master? Gu Yuan asked, confused. I'm just a scholar, the demonic scholar replied calmly. Not like Blood King Imo, who exudes murderous intent. We scholars cherish a more subtle kind of death, because that is an art that transcends all things. A situation where victory is guaranteed holds no artistry. Prepare yourselves. Since the evil artifact has already been set up, I will give them a final chance. Whether or not they seize this last opportunity depends entirely on them. The demonic scholar spoke coldly, as the chessboard hidden beneath the painting quivered slightly. But Master, if we fail, we may not be able to report back to the evil gods. Our goal is the Holy See and the ancient 7 clans. Gu Yuan voiced his concern in his advisory tone. Art cannot be desecrated. I don't care about them. After all, it's not every day we get to witness the perfect artistry of death, the demonic scholar replied, trembling with a laugh. Understood, Master. Gu Yuan bowed, no longer hesitating. He turned and headed toward the Sky City, preparing to assemble the army and await further orders from the demonic scholar. Over the course of several decades, Gu Yuan and the others had fallen completely under the control of the demonic scholar. Now, perhaps only a trace of their original essence was still struggling, and if no timely cure came soon, even the arrival of angels would be in vain. At that point, The core elders of the Gu clan would lose all semblance of humanity and would fully transform into members of the extraterritorial evil clan. However, the so-called demonic scholar was unlike any previous ruler of the extraterritorial evil clan. For him, the arts of the zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting were his greatest expertise, and his life's pursuit was the highest form of subtle murder. To him, a brutal slaughter could never compare to perfect artistry. Art was death. The key was how one died, and that, to him, was the most perfect form of art. To pursue and witness this kind of perfect art, he would gladly sacrifice his own life. In no time, the Gu clan's core elders, like walking corpses, prepared for action. Their strength was immense, including dozens of 8-star Docian, and with Gu Yuan, who was on the verge of touching the reincarnation realm. This battle seemed hopeless for Xiao Yin and his group. But unfortunately, the demonic scholar's pursuit of the highest art had doomed this certain victory, while also planting the seeds for the extraterritorial evil clan's future assault on the boundless fire domain. The next day, as the sun rose, the Gu realm was struck by an unprecedented disaster. Boom! A series of thunderous crashes, accompanied by waves of thick, evil energy, fell from the sky, like a river of stars crashing to the earth. A heavy sense of oppression spread throughout the land, filling the hearts of countless common folk with unease. What is this power? Is this the end of the world? Millions of people looked up, gazing at the sky city in the distance, where dark, ink-like energy swirled and expanded, causing widespread panic. Among these common folk, most were of average strength. Those with exceptional talent had long since been taken in by the Gu clan's elites. What's going on? Seeing this shocking sight, Xiao Yin and the others at the top of the hierarchy immediately took action, their expressions grave as they gazed at the Sky City. The Sky City has been sealed for a long time. It's about to reveal itself now, the Supreme Heavenly Emperor said, leading the charge. His eyes were fixed on the sky, his voice serious. Even he, a powerful being, felt a subtle, unsettling evil aura emanating from the sky. Boom, boom, boom. The sounds of destruction rang out continuously. Soon, the full shape of the Sky City appeared before everyone's eyes. Xun'er, the common folk are already being evacuated. With the help of the city officials, there's no need for concern. Right now, the demonic scholar is our greatest threat. Behind her, a large number of formidable soul bodies emerged, filling the sky in a massive formation that gradually shook the air. However, among these individuals, only a few were specialized in soul cultivation, and the rest, without their physical bodies to support them, would have their fighting strength greatly diminished when relying solely on their soul forms. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's all right. With me here, nothing will happen, Xiao Yin said, smiling as he held Xun'er's hand, his voice full of reassurance. Xun'er's eyes softened slightly at his words. Let's go and meet this so-called demonic scholar. Xiao Yin pulled Xun'er and took the lead, soaring into the sky and heading straight toward the slowly materializing ancient Sky City. Follow them. This time, no matter what it takes, we must ensure the safety of the clan leader and Lord Xiao Yin. Behind them, a vast army of soul spirits formed a mighty ocean of souls, following closely behind Xiao Yin and the others. Whoosh whoosh. The ancient Sky City, wrapped in black ink-like evil energy, suddenly dispersed, releasing a tidal wave of extreme evil energy that spread in all directions. Be careful. Xiao Yin narrowed his eyes at the scene, and 5-colored sacred flame erupted from his body, forming a fiery barrier that could cover the heavens and the earth, protecting the countless soul entities behind him. Boom, boom, boom. The fiery barrier collided with the energy tidal wave, perfectly absorbing the impact without triggering any further energy fluctuations. So, this is the ancient Sky City. It's so quiet, eerily silent, without a trace of life. The group stopped a few hundred meters from the city, still in midair. From a distance, they could already smell the scent of blood from within the ancient Sky City, yet the city appeared spotless, making them feel uneasy. Welcome, everyone, to the ancient Sky City. Come up. Just as Xiao Yin and the others hesitated, a soft, scholar-like voice echoed, and at once, the ancient sky city, which had been standing tall in the sky, began to change. At the bottom of the ancient sky city, a cloud chain, 100 meters wide, extended down to the ground. The cloud chain seemed to be crafted from flawless jadeite, translucent and shimmering. In the sky, it looked more like soft, milky white clouds, clean and orderly. Creak. As the cloud chain reached the ground, a mechanical sound echoed, anchoring it firmly in place. Soon after, the cloud chain transformed, and a series of cloud ladders appeared before them. The cloud ladders connected the ground to the bottom of the ancient sky city, covered in countless faint star patterns that shimmered brightly like silver, dazzling to the eyes. This looks like the ancient sky city has completely fallen. Our bodies, including the old clan leader of the Gu clan from the Gu Abyss, are probably in grave danger. Without showing themselves, the voices of the soul elders behind them sighed as they observed the scene. Let's go. Xiao Yin released his dazzling amber rock soul flame, then, with Xun'er, stepped onto the cloud ladder, heading toward the ancient sky city. Follow them. The ruler of the supreme heavenly emperor's forces, commanding tens of thousands of soul entities behind him, gave the order. A radiant aura slowly moved toward the ancient sky city. At the same time, at the very bottom of the floating ancient sky city, an enormous plaza appeared. The plaza was extremely clean and tidy, but in the center, 24 black stone pillars were arranged in 2 neat rows, each engraved with intricate patterns. They exuded a terrifying aura that sent chills down one's spine. Clearly, these stone pillars were anything but ordinary. This is the Gu clan's plaza, where major announcements and events of the clan take place. It holds great significance among the Gu clan, but I don't remember seeing these eerie 24 stone pillars before. Xun'er quietly spoke beside Xiao Yin, her voice tinged with confusion. What's going on? Moments later, several hundred soul entities, mostly core members of the Gu clan with 7-star Do Xian or higher cultivation, entered the plaza. These souls represented Xiao Yan's final trump card. The hundreds of soul entities surrounded the edge of the plaza, while the remaining powerful figures stood ready below the cloud ladder, awaiting orders. The entire Gu clan plaza was eerily silent. Looking around, only the 24 stone pillars in the center of the plaza stood out. Everyone's eyes flickered as they stared at those sinister pillars, their souls involuntarily shivering. Boom! Suddenly, the 24 stone pillars in the center of the plaza began to tremble, and eerie stairways emerged, lifting the pillars from the ground. As the stairways appeared, the center of the plaza slowly transformed into a dark and ominous altar, surrounded by dozens of black stone steps. In the center of the altar, 12 stone pillars stood on each side, symmetrical and imposing. Beneath them, 2 thrones subtly emerged, one black, one white. The thrones hovered as if overseeing the entire world. Welcome, everyone, to the Sky Evil Ancient City. At that moment, from the black throne, a man dressed in ink-colored robes appeared. His black hair was neatly tied into a topknot, and his delicate face was soft and handsome. His white hands moved gently, exuding a scholarly aura. As soon as his voice rang out, the entire sky fell into utter silence. Even behind his black throne, a strange shadow, resembling a servant, bent low, crawling with an air of servility. The demonic scholar. Xiao Yan's body jolted, and he immediately stood before Xun'er, shielding her from the overwhelming surge of malevolent energy that hit them head-on. Welcome, everyone. The demonic scholar smiled faintly, surprisingly rising lightly from his black throne. He then performed a respectful bow towards Xiao Yin and the others below, his demeanor more like a scholar, showing none of the terrifying majesty of an extraterritorial evil clan ruler. This guy. The Supreme Heavenly Emperor and Xiao Yin exchanged a glance, a wave of pressure surging in their hearts. It seemed that this man's intellect far surpassed that of Blood King Mo. Both he and Blood King Mo were at the peak of the 8-star Do Xian stage, but with such remarkable intelligence, it seemed the demonic scholar was the true menace. Demonic scholar, You've occupied the core of the Gu clan for decades. Today, we return with the Gu clan's elite to strike back. Xun'er's voice, light and clear, carried a sacred aura capable of purifying all things, sending a tremor through the soul bodies behind her. Heh, Gu Yuan. It seems your Gu clan has produced some impressive talents after all. Since that's the case, you should entertain them properly. Observing Xun'er's stance, the demonic scholar seemed unhurried, settling back into his black throne. He mysteriously waved a feather fan in his hand, savoring the moment, as if waiting for something. Strange. What is that? Xiao Yan's spiritual sense spread out, probing, but after a moment of focus, he found nothing. Yes, master. A quiet voice responded, and then the figure behind the black throne leaped from the altar. The black robe fell away, revealing a familiar face to the powerful ones present. Clan leader Gu Yuan? How could this be? The moment the black robe was removed, a middle-aged man stood before them, his imposing aura slowly spreading. But his eyes now gleamed with dark, malevolent energy, completely devoid of humanity. He had been fully controlled by the demonic scholar. Despicable. Xiao Yan cursed under his breath. Shush. Gu Yuan is one of my most cherished pieces of art, but don't disappoint me. After all, that's what makes it so enjoyable. The demonic scholar smiled mysteriously, as if in his eyes, Xiao Yan and the others were no more than ants, while he was the true ruler of this world. Their existence was merely to witness and participate in his perfect art, an honor beyond measure. Defeat me, and you will earn the right to challenge my king. Otherwise, die. With a cold snort, black evil energy erupted from Gu Yuan's body in waves like ominous clouds, carrying with it a fluctuating power that was difficult to comprehend. It was the ripple of reincarnation. Beast Emperor Celestial Phenomenon. Seeing the terrifying energy clouds, Xiao Yan didn't dare hold back. His fire elemental Do core surged violently within him, and countless Do Qi erupted, forming a colossal shadow of the Beast Emperor above their heads, attempting to block the incoming attack. Crack! The black clouds, like a river of stars, descended quietly, and as they touched the Beast Emperor's celestial phenomenon, no resistance was offered. Cracks appeared across the shadow, and in the next moment, this defense would likely collapse completely. Damn! Feeling the tremendous force of Gu Yuan's casual strike, Xiao Yan's pressure mounted, and his body was violently shaken. His sacred flame writhed in his hands, trying to mitigate the terrifying power. Golden Crow's shadow. Xun'er's brows furrowed in concern, and with a wave of her hand, Golden Crow fire shadows spiraled out, merging with the shattered Beast Emperor's image, combining their powers to withstand Gu Yuan's attack. Clan leader Gu Yuan has actually touched reincarnation and now controlled by the demonic scholar. Xiao Yan waved his hand, summoning 5 colored flames that flickered with excitement, seeming to have found a worthy opponent after so long. Though his body trembled, his Xiao clan bloodline burned with heat, and the clan mark on his brow began to resonate. A power capable of contending with Gu Yuan slowly brewed within him. Gu Yuan has touched reincarnation, and now controlled by the demonic scholar, it seems. The Supreme Heavenly Emperor exchanged a look with Gu Yuan behind him, his face full of doubt. Brother Gu Yuan, you are in charge of leading the army. I, Xiao Yan, and Xun'er must join forces to deal with clan leader Gu Yuan. That is our only chance of survival. All right. Gu Yuan nodded slightly upon hearing this. Though his strength was currently weak, commanding an army was something he could do with ease. I'll take the lead in the attack. The clan leader Xun'er will focus on defense, and Lord Xiao Yan will wait for the right moment to act. The Supreme Heavenly Emperor could only say this now. All right. Xun'er clenched her teeth, her body trembling violently. Her delicate hands gripped the corner of her clothes tightly, and the reincarnation mark on her forehead flickered slightly, radiating an aura of boundless holiness. Don't use that power. Do you hear me? Xiao Yan took a deep breath and then sternly spoke to Xun'er. He knew exactly what was running through her mind. But this is a critical moment. At that instant, Xun'er was no longer her usual gentle self. Instead, she began to argue with Xiao Yan. Currently, Gu Abyss was too strong. Even if the three of them joined forces, their chances of winning were less than 1 in 10. Not to mention the sinister demonic scholar, who was watching them closely, and the countless evil beings hidden in the ancient Sky City. Xun'er carried the reincarnation of the Master of the 9 mystical flames. If she forcibly activated it, she could temporarily gain the power to confront Gu Abyss. However, Xun'er knew that the reincarnation mark she had only just obtained was unstable. If used prematurely, the reincarnation of the Master of the 9 mystical flames could fail entirely, and she would suffer immense backlash. After all, her reincarnation mark was not as refined as Zhuangqi Fei's, which had been honed over time. Trust me, Xiao, you've never disappointed me before. So this time, you can trust me as well. All right, but if you're in any danger, I won't hesitate to trigger the reincarnation, even if it means using the final burning reincarnation. Because I am your wife. Xun'er nodded seriously, speaking with firm conviction. Rest assured, leave it to me. Xiao smiled reassuringly. However, from the tone of Xun'er's voice and her resolute expression, he could sense a genuine tenderness. It was clear she wasn't just saying it for show. If his final trump card failed, Xun'er would likely go through with it. Such an action and cost were clearly something Xiao could not bear. For a moment, he clenched his fists tightly, a rare surge of power slowly emanating from within him. This was the first time Xiao had formally unleashed it, though he was unsure of its full power. It was the unique strength of the Xiao clan's descendants, an ability that only Xiao clan members could wield. Fortunately, in certain critical moments, Xiao had awakened it and successfully activated it.